Well, I don't know if you've heard the drama, but Trump has imposed tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. And clearly the sky is falling. Well, I got some bad news for you drama lovers. It's not true. And I've got the receipts to prove it. Let's get into it. Let's talk about why these tariffs aren't really that big of a deal and why, honestly, you should just keep going on doing your normal thing. So first off, what we got to talk about is the fact Canada and Mexico, okay? They've already postponed those because Trump said, hey, as long as you do blah, blah, blah at the border and do this other stuff, then we won't impose those tariffs. And Canada and Mexico are already like, sure, we'll do that. All right. There was some pushback and there's a lot of back and forth, and you can talk about the hockey games and all that kind of stuff people are complaining about. USA is going to win. I mean, we're better at hockey, naturally. Anyway, and Mexico, I'm not really worried about buying tools from Mexico. Boots, I don't like my boots going up in prices, but everything else is just fine. But that said, tools, and people like to say this stuff about, oh, China freight's going to go under and stuff, but they never go, well, what about Home Depot? What about Lowe's? What about Ace? What about Stanley Black & Decker? What are all these companies that make their tools in China? And they never had anything to say about that. Well, here's the reality on this. First and foremost, most of those tariffs were already imposed back in Trump's first term. All right. So, and then Biden came in when Biden's running, these tariffs are terrible. They're anti, blah, blah, blah. I said all this stuff. Okay. Well, then he gets in office and doesn't touch a thing when it comes to these tariffs, left them right in place. So clearly the reality is most economists probably feel the tariffs are a good idea. All right, Trump comes in the second term, he imposes a 10% tariff. Now, a lot of people will still try to say, oh my gosh, 10%. These are all the same people when I show them a 10% coupon would be like, that's not worth me getting out of bed. All right, fine. Yeah, it's 10%, okay? So let's talk about, first of all, how TTI, this is a major company and they're publicly traded. So like people talk about Harbor Freight, well, we can't really see behind the curtains there at Harbor Freight because they're a private company. But TTI released this two-sheeter here that's, inside information. We don't normally, it says the announcement is we don't normally talk about these sort of things, but because this is a big deal, we're going to talk about it. And at the end of the day, to summarize it is we're not worried about it, neither should you. And all the analysts back them up. In fact, if we talk about their stock, if you look at TTI stock, it did take a hit right in early February when the tariffs were announced, but it's bounced back and it's even higher than it was before the tariffs were announced. And Stanley Black & Decker is trending pretty much exactly the same as well. So there's really nothing there to be like, aha, you see, clearly people are freaking out because, well, they're not. And the reason is this. TTI said it, other companies are already doing it. They didn't wait. They saw what was going on and they've already diversified. The original tariffs back when Trump's first term, and then when Biden came in and didn't get rid of them, they're like, okay, we need to do something. So they started shifting manufacturing other places. They legit would pick up factories and move them across borders and put them somewhere else. Now there is a trend, and I just need to address this, where companies will make something and then they'll send it to another country that has a factory where all that factory does is take the box off, put it in another box and go, look, it was made here. It's some scammy kind of international kind of stuff, and we're not going to get into it. Do some people do it? Yes. Are the major players going to do it? Maybe. But the reality is they're going to get around those tariffs doing that. So there's a lot of ways they can get around it. And there's a lot of stuff that's going on. But the thing I want to talk about here is, like I said before, the 10%, the Canada and Mexico tariffs, they're not a thing. The 10% in China, not really that huge of a deal. The companies are diversifying. The TTI's already moved a lot of their manufacturing to other places. They're even making stuff here in the U.S., mostly hand tools and stuff like this. Power tools are where the real issue is. Batteries and stuff like that. A lot of it's already made in Vietnam, made in Malaysia, made in other countries. And, and I was talking about also the old, the Harbor Freight thing. Wait till you see this. And I know it's hard to see here. This is the Yukon Toolbox. And if you look close down here, and we zoom in, come down here, it may not be easy to read. That says made in Cambodia. When did that start? And if you think it's just the cheap boxes, we got the U.S. General. And it is also saying, let me scroll over here, made in Cambodia. So clearly, Harbor Freight's already adjusting to this, and I've talked about with Tecton also a lot of the high-end hand tools and stuff. A lot of the power tools, like the stationary power tools, a lot of those are made in Taiwan. Taiwan is a favored trade partner with the United States. It's unaffected by these. Cambodia, I don't even know what's going on in Cambodia these days. I don't think the Khmer Rouge is still in power. Hasn't been probably for a while, hopefully. But that said, if you don't know what I'm talking about, get a history book. But that said, there are no tariffs there. They're moving stuff all over the place, trying to get around these tariffs. A lot of stuff moving to India. The manufacturing I've seen from India has not been great in the hand tools. Hopefully it's going to get better as they move more and more of it over there. But that said, and India has just basically said they are looking to double their trade, import stuff and whatnot, their relations with the United States. So that's going there. I think you get a lot of people, really what happens is you get a lot of these people who are haters who just want to take anything negative and spin it as much as they can. Now, I'm politically speaking, again, I don't like to get into politics. I'm a libertarian centrist kind of person. I'm a hashtag leave me the bleep alone. That's my politics, okay? But that said, I've seen a lot of people on the left going, aha, joke's on you. It's the buyer who pays the tariffs. Well, that's not exactly true. Technically, the buyer does pay the tariffs. But I'll tell you what, as the buyer, I get to play the golden rule. And that is, he with the gold makes the rules. And if I'm buying from you, and I know you're a manufacturer that's got tariffs, across the board, this giant wall of tariffs saying, you sell to anybody over here, they're all going to have to pay that. And you're seeing a lot of your buyers go here, go there, go the other place. I'm going to sit there and go, I need a 10% discount if you want me to stick with you, or I'm going to go to Malaysia. I'm going to go to Cambodia. I'm going to go east, west, up, down. I can go to Africa. I can go to all sorts of places to get tools made. I don't need to buy from you. It's been convenient. We've had a great relationship, but you're going to just have to eat that 10%. And guess what? That's usually what's going to happen. In fact, I've been in negotiations where I knew that they were over a barrel because they're losing buyers. I'm like, guess what? I don't want a 10% discount. I want a 15% discount because you're losing buyers. People who don't know business probably shouldn't talk about how businesses are run. All right. I've run many successful businesses, and, I do YouTube as kind of my, home business retirement kind of thing. I've been very blessed to be in the trades and to run, multi-million-dollar businesses and see both sides of the coin. So I can really speak from it. And from a negotiating standpoint, tariffs are just another tool in the toolbox that can be used against you or for you. All right. I do not expect to see a huge increase in prices. I don't expect to see a 10% increase in prices because of these tariffs. And neither does the stock market, clearly. I'm not the only person seeing this. So don't worry about what somebody in the media is saying about this, whether they're saying it's good or bad or whatever. The reality is not much is going to change to you. Now, to companies, there's going to be a lot of diversification as to where they manufacture the tools. And in the long run, that's a good thing. All right. Hopefully we'll get more here back in the States. We'll get more here in North America. And by not having them all based in one country, that's going to allow us to negotiate with other countries and work deals against them and for them and stuff. And at the end, the winner really should be the buyers. So that's what we got for you. Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like what we do here, don't forget to chomp the old like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell on the way out. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.